I have to change settings, but while I'm here, warning. This is an 18+ visual novel that contains mature and heavy content, descriptions of gore, and suggestive content. So if you're not into that, maybe don't watch this. There are also rapidly flashing images and text effects. So, if that bothers you. Thank you so much for your support, though. Enjoy! Alright, hello friends, and welcome to OBSCURA, where I am obscuraing the title. I am actually not sure about this visual novel. I've seen a lot of it. Not like a lot of it, but I've seen a lot of good things about it online. Different social media platforms seem to think that I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm down to try it at the very least and see what this is about. I don't remember a lot of what this is about other than everybody's wearing masks for some reason, and that it's a little bit darker, which is what scares me. But, oh, I can look at warnings. Let's see if it says by content. Contains spoilers. Just kidding. Well, we have dark and mature subjects, religious themes, drugs and alcohol, human trafficking, violence, and sexual themes. The only one that bothers me is... okay. The player character is indirectly propositioned for sex. They're having sex out of sight with audio cues. Love that. And others are consensually drugged with an aphrodisiac gas. Oh no. But I'm excited to hop into this and see what this is about, so let's go, I guess. What the hell am I about to do? What? I'm scared. I don't know, do I have to literally... Sure, why not? If you ever need or want to pause gameplay, you can press the safe word button in the top right corner. It says pumpkin up here. This pauses the game and takes you to the safe word menu. Okay, the X key will also take you directly to the safe word menu during gameplay. Okay, so I can't click. That goes backwards for some reason. Okay. Leaving the safe word menu will take you back to the game. Safe word button is hidden by default, but can always be seen by mousing over the top right corner of the window. Okay. It can be made always visible in the preferences menu. Please enjoy. I don't know what I'm about to get into. No one goes into the mountain without a reason. Okay. Purpose of business? Buying. No one takes their past into the mountain. How are you going to pay? Some funds, some work. Good luck with that. Everyone knows what it means when you go. No one says anything about it. Give me your bags. The guard looks through my things with perfect efficiency. Bored, they start asking me questions. What are you going to be called down there? Oh, sweet. What am I going to be called? I'm just going with my normal name. Listen. I know that's lame, but... Kit. Good choice. Yeah, that's just what I'm normally called, so... You have a mask, thanks, Kit? No one would sell me one. Not a problem here. If you're buying, we're selling. The gate guard waves to the mask hanging around the entrance. Perhaps one worn by other visitors. Oh, okay. The masks are an old custom. Plausible deniability. We're all faceless strangers under the mountain. Take your poison. The charcoal-colored one with worn lace and gold trim, the cream-colored one with flowery details painted across the left side, and the burgundy-colored one with the swirling embossed patterns. I'm kind of between charcoal and burgundy, but I think I'm gonna go charcoal, maybe? I take the mask off the wall and fit it to my face. It weighs on my head, but my mind feels lighter. I see my reflection in the mirror. Okay. The people under the mountain have beautiful taste. I hand the gate guard the money owed. Welcome to the marketplace. They step aside, allowing me passage into the tunnel in the side of the mountain. I begin my descent. Okay. At first I have to wonder if I've been tricked in some way. The passage grows narrow, the air stale, and the path uneven. I am walking by the last feeble threads of light that reach this deep. But then I see something, a shimmering pale blue glow from around a corner. I fight through the narrowing walls until I'm able to turn the corner. The passage suddenly widens. Then it opens. I step from the passage into a cavern, so massive I can hardly see the end of it. A marketplace. There are several masked people who were seated or leaning against the walls around this little entryway, and now they're approaching me. Welcome, newcomer. A fresh face. Someone new could use a guide, couldn't they? Hucksters, or perhaps petty thieves looking for an easy mark. My valuables are kept under my heavy robe, safe from pickpockets. I steel myself and march forward, past the strangers. There's no logic to this place. A fishmonger selling dried and salted fish sits next to a bookseller with stacks of forbidden tomes. I'm sure those books smell great. A fungus man and bird keeper are bickering. If they weren't obvious scams, I could have taken one of the offers for a guide and saved myself some time. At first, I glance at each stall and turn. Out here, nearest the entry tunnel, all the stalls are selling simple amenities or cheap thrills. The sorts of things a departing traveler might want to have when they ascend. Not what I'm looking for. It's not here. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be. Asking one of the sellers, I get directions. The rough walls of this cavern, shifting and trembling in unsteady candle and glowworm light, slowly turn smooth where natural walls turn to human-carved. The ramshackle stalls turn to ramshackle buildings, to painted and varnished walls. The quality of goods on sale is improving as well. The cheap basics are behind me. Ahead are the rare, the luxurious, and the illicit. The real reason anyone comes here. Seeing the sign for an apothecary, an easily recognizable serpent coiling around a staff, I slip inside. Welcome. The shopkeeper is masked, of course, but that is not what grabs my attention. The din of hundreds of voices selling and buying and negotiating in the echoing caves is muffled, but not by much. That's because while the apothecary has 4 walls, there's no roof over the store. Newcomer, huh? What? You must be a fresh arrival. And why would you say that? You're staring where the ceiling should be. Ah, I suppose in a city with no sun or rain, roofs are unnecessary. Only thing a roof keeps out in the marketplace is thieves. Okay. A common weather pattern here. Far too common. I make an effort to examine the apothecary's mask. It's plain, plainer even than mine. Perhaps he's frugal, or perhaps he's poor by the standards of the marketplace. Well, you weren't driven in here by the weather. What do you need? I'm looking for a lunar ichor. I resist the urge to explain my circumstances to the shopkeeper. No matter how meaningless or petty they seem, my secrets are one of the few resources I have in these depths. You have expensive tastes, or terrible luck. What I don't have is lunar ichor. Is that something you can remedy, apothecary? No. If money is a concern, I can make arrangements. It's not the money. I could never afford to stock that damnable ichor. Even if I could, I doubt I would be able to stomach it. The rumors were true, then. That's unfortunate. Where does one go, then, to find that damnable ichor? Smuggler dens, the vaults of the lords of the market, or perhaps you could take a knife to the lunar god. Failing that, the auction house may provide. It's the largest house this side of the ruby walls. It even has a roof. The apothecary cannot see my smile, but I hope he can hear it. I thank you for your timely advice, sir. Save your thanks for the lunar god. It'll be a miracle if you get that ichor. I take my leave of the shop. The noise rises again from loud to deafening. There are tunnels and additional caverns in all directions, but I continue the way I was going. If the walls are getting smoother and the buildings are more beautiful, then I'm approaching the richest part of the market. It stands to reason that that's where the auction house will be. Keeping my eyes up, it takes no time to find the auction house. It's as the apothecary said, the largest house this side of ruby walls. There are long chains of glowworms draped over the promised ridged roof that dangle and sway as the air shifts in the cavern. The building itself is deep, garnet red with gilded trim. Message received. You're very wealthy, whoever built this. The doors, covered in tiny engravings impossible to interpret in the dim lights, are wide open. Bright golden lamplight pours out into the street. People are freely milling in and out, and so I slip inside. I'm underdressed for the occasion, but neither of the guards standing at the doors move to stop me. The sound of the outside suddenly dims, and I have to blink against the sudden brightness. I can hear my own muffled footsteps as I cross the plush carpet deeper into the auction house. The whispered conversations through masks make a thin fog of sound compared to the din outside. The signs are in a language I do not recognize, but I can make some educated guesses. The ornate double doors, standing locked and guarded, must lead to the actual auction hall. There's a short, uncarpeted hall with gleaming polished floors, lined with several doors. After a second, I see a giggling pair exit one of the rooms and straighten their clothes. That explains that, then. There's one door that is little more than a window on hinges, left open. I peer inside for a second, only to see an ordinary office. Come in. The stranger sitting behind the desk waves to me, and so I step inside. Pardon me, I didn't mean to intrude. You can't intrude on the bookkeeper. I must always be available. You must be? How else could anyone check to ensure I'm not meddling in the books? Does it really come to that? Well, I have no such concerns. A buyer, are you? Couldn't I simply be a browser? You really believe someone could come into the marketplace to the auction house just looking to see what they find? I suppose someone must have in all of history. Well, if that's the scale you're measuring by. You, however, are not here to browse. No, I'm not. You're right, I'm here to buy. Shall I show you the catalog for the next auction? I would appreciate it. The bookkeeper stands and hands me a sizable booklet. Do not damage it. Do not leave here with it. They open a drawer to their desk and hold up a knife. It's a little thing, but I have no doubt they could kill me with it. Then they sit again and resume their work. I flip through the book. There are objects of unimaginable value, works of art by artists even I know by name, an exquisite jeweled tiara fit for any princess, the deed to a country manor. Country manor on the surface. Then there are the wonders I could have never dreamt of. The bird wreathed in flames that never burns, the still beating bloodstone heart of some rock nymph, a potion of clear vision. I flip a page and am met with the miserable exposed face of a young adult. Their posture is low and defeated, but they are beautiful. The text informs me that whatever is paid in the auction will be sent to their family within the mountain. Surely not. I flip the page again. There are no other people in the catalog, but one is enough to turn my stomach. Thank you, bookkeeper. Finished already? What I want isn't in there. And what is it that you want? I'll check the history, see when it was last sold. I bite my tongue for a moment. Lunar Ichor. An unlucky one, aren't we? I couldn't say, but if you would, bookkeeper. They shuffle through a notebook. I try to read the text, but it's nearly impossible to interpret their faint pencil scratchings. More bad luck to heap on your plate, I'm afraid. The last sale was 3 months back. It's unlikely we'll get another sale for months yet, unless someone new comes with a stock. It couldn't be easy, could it? And what was the final price for it? For a lot of 12. The number they tell me is stomach-dropping. I could not gather those funds in a lifetime. Even divided 12 ways, the price for a single vial is well beyond my means. My life savings weigh heavily in the coin purse under my robe. Dead weight, it seems. By your silence, I guess you don't have the money. Thank you for your time. I try to keep my voice neutral. When I leave the auction house, I momentarily lose my sight and hearing as I adjust again to the dim, echoing cavern. I don't notice the direction my feet are taking me. My hopes for a quick visit to the marketplace have been thoroughly dashed. Now I have to determine what to do. I can't afford to give up. I cannot allow myself to give in to difficult circumstances. If I give up on getting the lunar ichor, I might as well throw myself off the mountain. For now, I need a place to stay. My feet ache from the climb up the mountain, and my spirit is draining away in these cramped, noisy conditions. I stop by a stall and ask directions for a decent inn, rest stop, public house, anything. Following the directions through a short tunnel, I wander through a quieter district of the marketplace. Though quiet is relative. The guest house is a challenge to find. Though I hesitate to call the ground down walking paths roads, there are rest houses lining them on either side. The Leaping Bear, the guest house recommended to me, is nothing remarkable. The building has a roof, but the building itself is mostly made of raw wood. The brass doorknob is smooth under my hand, polished by the thousands of guests who come and go. Inside, the atmosphere is boisterous, but on the scale of a handful of people singing a drinking song. The chaos outside is already muffled and distant. Welcome. The woman who approaches has her face fully covered in a bear mask, but her neckline is untied and exposed. I wonder who she works for. Hello, I was told this was a good establishment to stay the night. You were told right. Except the part about the night. Here there's no real difference between night and day. Plenty of folks are up all hours of the day, as you do, just sleeping when they're tired and forgetting the sun ever existed. I see. The bear-masked woman has me sign into a guest book and pay for the night. You have the room for 24 hours. If you're staying longer, I expect you here to pay for more time. If you don't, you might find all your things at a moon shrine. I'll remember. Thank you. And you'll be needing these. She hands me a dull metal medallion on a leather string and a key. Dear Rufus over there. She gestures to a mountain of a man, also in a bear mask, standing by a door. Make sure only guests go to the rooms. That medallion proves you're a guest. Don't lose it. Or else I'll find my things at a moon shrine. Pick things up quickly, you do. It seems like an important skill to have here. Quite right. She gets back to her business, so I approach the mountain of a man guarding the door to the rooms. I see you have a club. Hello, Rufus. I hold up the medallion and wait. I'm not about to rush a man with a bat, especially one as blood-stained as his is. Then he nods, and I'm granted passage. He watches me go to my assigned room. I suppose it's a good measure to prevent theft, but then so is a blood-stained bat. Sleep doesn't come easily at first. How can I risk sleeping in the marketplace? But it does come for me. In the metaphorical cold light of morning, I see the sense in my choice last night. I cannot leave the marketplace without lunar ichor. Thus, staying is my only real choice. I'm able to order something like breakfast from the Leaping Bear's kitchen, and then sit deep in thought, staring at a bowl of porridge. Eating in this mask is a bit of a bother. I have to navigate the spoon around the mask. There's clasps, you know. I start at the sudden appearance of the proprietress. By saying that 5 times fast. What? Feel along the side of the mask. There should be pins or clasps holding the bottom part. I do as she said and find little clasps holding the 2 parts of my mask together. Oh, I feel like a proper fool. It already feels strange having my mouth exposed, like a funny kind of nudity. Newcomers are all a bit foolish. That's part of their charm. Thank you, I think. Just keep your wits about you. You'll live. You make it sound so dire. Well, you're here, aren't you? You're not wrong. No one comes here without good reason, I should think. What's yours? A personal matter. Buying or selling. That's all there is down here, after all. Buying. Something I might not be able to afford, it turns out. That won't narrow things down too much for her. Well, depends on how you try to buy things, doesn't it? Money will get you anywhere if you have enough of it, but there's other roads out there. Is that something you'd know a lot about? I couldn't say. I only know what stories the guests bring in. She says it flippantly enough that there must be a story there, but I resist the urge to dig. Then I suppose my next job is to find what paths I can use. Thank you. Oh, not a problem. The masks trouble everyone at first. You just ask for Bruna if you have any more problems. I'll be happy to help. Okay. She sweeps away to handle another matter, and I'm left with far more productive thoughts. Money won't get me lunar ichor, but something else might. Influence, friendship, violence, guile. My body, if it comes down to it. Anything. There's a lot to think about. Am I going to stay in a guest house for weeks or months? What possible ways are there to get lunar ichor? Let's start with one foot in front of the other. Over the next several days, I get to learn the layout of the marketplace. It's an ever-shifting rat's nest of stalls and passages and unmanned pathways, but there are some fixed landmarks. I can navigate somewhat comfortably by those landmarks when they're visible. One evening, based on my own internal clock, the proprietress of the Leaping Bear hints over a meal that as long as I'm well behaved, she would be willing to extend more generous long-term rates to me. I wasn't planning to misbehave, or even less so with Rufus keeping an eye on me, and so that settles the matter of lodging for the moment. As for the lunar ichor, I'm at a loss. It's rare, absurdly rare, and based on the reactions of those I speak to about it, some aspect of it is very taboo. Likely the condition it treats. I'm wandering one of the quieter passages, clearly natural by how uneven the ground is. It's mostly homes, built on whatever smooth patch of stone the builder could find. But there's one that towers over the rest, a tall church with heavy oaken doors. Where normally I would expect to see a golden 10-point solar sigil, instead there's a more simplistic crescent-shaped one, the lunar sigil. I suppose the solar god isn't much help down here. I've seen the eerie blue-green light of glowworms and the smoky gold of lanterns, but I've not seen the sun since I started my descent. Churches dedicated to the lunar god exist outside the mountain, but not in any significant numbers. The lunar god, lunar ichor. It can't hurt to ask, could it? I'm not sure I believe that the lunar god must bleed for there to be lunar ichor, but there's no harm in checking. Hey, stop. I halt in my path instinctively, although after a moment I can see no one was speaking to me. Instead, there's a raucous crowd gathering just down the tunnel, shouting and tussling. A few people in utilitarian masks and what looks like uniforms are trying to push their way through. Looks like trouble. Let's go to church. In my haste to escape the ruckus outside, I scramble towards the entrance. Then, once I ascertain that they aren't locked, I slip through the imposing, massive oak doors. The carvings in the wood press into my palms, a surprisingly comforting, grounding sensation. I should also say, while we're getting into this, I have no idea who any of the characters are, so I'm not going for, anything in particular with this. I'm just trying it out just to see what happens. I know we're 25 minutes into this video, but, Then once the door is closed, the change in temperature and atmosphere hits me. Okay. First is the smell. Candle smoke, heavy incense, and cold, crumbling stone. Then comes the solemn silence, the kind that reminds you of your place within these holy walls and the oppressively tall ceiling. I'm finally alone, even for just a little while. I take that moment to release the breath I was holding and take in my surroundings. This is where the inhabitants of the underground come to worship the lunar god. It's also a reminder that I still haven't found any adequate leads for the Ichor. When I take a couple of steps down the carpeted path between the aisles, I suddenly make out a figure behind the altar. They're wearing long robes. A priest, maybe. Excuse me. I call out, taking care not to raise my voice too loud. The person shuffles around and I see they're masked, too. Although this comes as no surprise, it's an unfortunate realization. Even those in service of the lunar god aren't safe from the marketplace. As they approach, I notice the distinct glimmer of a golden brooch nestled between the folds of their clothes, proof of their holy devotion. Their entire appearance is refined and almost ethereal. A rich, silken voice. It takes me off guard. Do my ears deceive me, or has another fight broken out? The priest stops a few meters from me, and from here I notice that their mask doesn't cover their mouth, which is set into a thin, disapproving line. You're right, it's quite the scene outside. I pause. I was hoping I could lay low here for a while. I'm not one for brawls. My star. The church will always be a place of safety for those who need it. Please, stay as long as you like. I was taught that all lunar priests call believers their stars, but it still makes me smile. Oh, does it? Okay. Well, thank you, Father. Sorry, I know this is one of the characters. That one was just kind of, A twitch of their lips. Cirrus, you need not call me by those stuffy titles. A man's name, I had a feeling. I doubt it's his real one, as is the case with most people in the marketplace. Yeah, but even a fake name speaks volumes about someone's personality. Would you like to light a candle while you're here? I guess. Huh. Sure, why not? I follow him towards the back of the church, past the initial altar, and stop in front of the statue. It towers over us, surrounded by row after row of marine blue candles, and the sight takes my breath away. A sea of light. I don't believe I've seen you around these parts before. Small talk. I light a match and watch the flame flicker softly as I bring it to the wick. The only rational thing to do is to answer with a vague pleasantry, to make sure I don't divulge important information. I'm far from being well-traveled. Think I might see the appeal now, though. Is that so? Despite not being able to see his eyes through his mask, I feel them on me. Cirrus makes no effort to follow up on his last comment, and the two of us fall into silence. You're a bit of an unusual priest, aren't you? His lips twitch again, forming into a polite smile. Would you care to elaborate? I like to keep my secrets. What does that mean? We're standing closer now, shoulders only slightly apart as we watch the new flame sway in unison with the rest. There's such a strange comfort to it all. I'm not comfortable, but okay. I could linger here for hours, soaking up the atmosphere. I'm curious about what it's like. Being a priest, I mean. Demanding answers of me while not offering up your own. Behind my mask, I suppress a smile at his light prodding. Can't argue with that. Well, I understand your caution. The marketplace is by no means a safe environment. But if it's of any comfort, my star, I'm bound to the lunar scriptures. It's my job to ensure the visitors here feel safe and cared for, okay? The words roll off his tongue with practiced ease. I don't trust him in the slightest, to be honest. I pick at my nails in slight discomfort, thankfully hidden from view under my long sleeves. He doesn't seem all that bad at first glance, but I don't appreciate the pushiness I feel from him. It's disconcerting. I don't know. say I need to leave and like maybe I can come back or something. Because I'm sure we don't need to do this right now. I can't describe why, but I don't really want to stay here anymore. I feel much better going back out there and picking up the trail back where I left off. There's a whole lot of unexplored areas that are beckoning me. I simply nod at Cyrus, thank him for his time, and turn to leave the church. Before I make it through the doors, he calls out to me. I never caught your name. I smile and decide to, in fact, not give him my name at all. You could at least say it. Damn, okay. I think with that, it's probably a good time to end this first episode of this demo. Did I even tell you that this is a demo? Oh boy. I'm definitely interested in it. I want to know why I want Iker. You know? What am I wanting this for? The atmosphere is very interesting. It's not too dark right now, and in the content warnings, I didn't see anything particularly bad that would make me not want to play this game. I didn't even know this game had content warnings, so to be fair, really nice. That made me feel a lot, I guess, safer with the game. I'm intrigued by it. I'd like to see some more, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode for now. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you are enjoying this game so far. Intrigued to see more of it with me, and I will see you in the future for some more Obscura.